Social media is a stage, polished and relentless, a place where we upload versions of ourselves, the best ones, and wait for applause. Scroll through any feed and you'll see a flood of curated joy. Sunlit beaches, glowing skin, sculpted bodies, perfectly timed laughter. It's a highlight reel, not a mirror. Behind the shimmer of every post can be a truth so stark, so human it becomes invisible. And sometimes when that truth finally breaks through, it's already too late. Raven K. Jackson was the kind of woman people didn't just notice, they remembered. A storm wrapped in sunshine, a spark in human form. She was 24 and already running her own fitness empire. CEO of Go Crazy Fitness, entrepreneur, public speaker, mental health advocate, motivator, healer, role model. And above all, she was magnetic. Not just because of her beauty or the thousands who followed her, but because she radiated something real. Her energy reached through the screen and wrapped around people like a warm hand. Hey, would you like to be a part of us on this channel? Click the subscribe button now to join us on Crime Whisper. Turn on your notifications and leave us a like. To most, Raven looked untouchable. On her Instagram, with over 230,000 followers, she led workouts that pushed bodies to their limit. She gave talks about discipline, trauma, healing. Her captions were fire, laced with hope, with power, with that unshakable, I got this energy. But buried under all that impact was a quiet ache, one that even the camera couldn't catch. Because Raven, for all her strength, had been carrying something heavy for years. Something private, something she rarely spoke about, even when she was telling others to fight their way through. One of her last videos showed her sweating and laughing mid-workout, arms pumping, music blasting. Comments poured in, calling her an inspiration, a queen, a beacon of strength. But just hours later, she sent a message to her boyfriend, the rapper 600 Breezy, telling him she couldn't keep going. That she'd fought long enough. That even love, his love, couldn't anchor her anymore. And then she was gone. The news came like a punch to the chest. September 2022. Young, beautiful, seemingly thriving. People stared at their phones in disbelief. Friends were blindsided. Her fans went into mourning. Her name trended for days. How? Why? She had so much. She was so loved. She was helping so many. It didn't make sense. Not on the surface. But that's the cruel paradox of depression. It doesn't care how much light you bring to the world. It only knows the darkness you carry inside. Raven's journey began in Mississippi, a state known for its strength, its struggle, and its grit. She was born on September 23, 1997, into a world that demanded resilience. Her mother, Tia, was the backbone of the family. She raised Raven and her sister Mia to be fighters, the kind of women who stood tall, spoke up, and worked harder than anyone in the room. Raven took that lesson to heart and made it her identity. She wasn't just ambitious, she was relentless. She graduated from Canton High School with honors, a standout in academics and athletics. Her sights were already set beyond the borders of her hometown. She enrolled at Auburn University in Alabama, majoring in biomedical sciences, a discipline known for its intensity. She had dreams of healing, of understanding the body not just as a machine, but as something sacred. She wasn't chasing clout, she was chasing truth. But beneath that quest was another mission, a more personal one. Raven was searching for something she couldn't name. Healing, maybe. Closure. She had scars, some from childhood, others carved over time. She rarely spoke of them directly, but they informed everything. Her drive, her discipline, even her silence. She later returned to Mississippi for a master's degree at Jackson State University. That's where her voice sharpened, where her identity as a public figure took shape. She created Real Talk with Raven, a platform for unfiltered conversation. She invited people to speak their pain aloud. She asked the hard questions and answered them too. She wasn't trying to be a brand, she was trying to build a bridge, something to carry others over the kind of pain she knew intimately. It was around that same time that Go Crazy Fitness was born. The name was more than catchy, it was a coded signature. Crazy with Ray tucked right inside. It was part wink, part war cry. Fitness wasn't just about squats and meal plans for her, it was medicine. Her programs were holistic, rooted in biology, psychology, and spirit. She crafted them with precision. Workouts that activated both muscle and mind, meal plans that prioritized nourishment over starvation, content that uplifted without preaching. What do you think about this tragic event? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section and tell us where you are watching from. Your engagements help us grow this channel. She filmed workouts in parking lots, dorm rooms, hotel balconies. She used whatever space she had. No ring light, she used the sun. No fancy equipment, she improvised. Her rise was organic, built on authenticity and sweat. She wasn't interested in faking perfection. She showed up as she was, even when she was struggling. And people followed, hundreds of thousands. Then millions of views. Her TikTok exploded. She wasn't just part of the wellness conversation, she was redefining it. Her clients weren't just getting in shape, they were reclaiming themselves. Women wrote to her saying she'd saved them from eating disorders, depression, abusive relationships. Men opened up about mental health because of her words. She responded to DMs at 2 a.m. She coached for free when she could. She mentored quietly. She gave until there was almost nothing left to give. She traveled constantly, Alabama, Georgia, Puerto Rico, bringing her message to gyms, rec centers, high schools. Her sessions were part boot camp, part therapy. People cried during her workouts, not just from exertion, but from the release. She spoke their language, she spoke to their pain, and they listened, because she made them feel seen. But that connection came at a cost. When you're the strong one, the motivator, the face, who do you go to when you're breaking? Who catches you when you fall? For Raven, the higher she climbed, the more isolated she became. Vulnerability became something she offered to others but withheld from herself. She journaled, she hinted, she shared pieces of her inner world, but only pieces. Just enough to be relatable, never enough to be rescued. Her relationship with 600 Breezy was real and intense. They were visible, passionate, and constantly under scrutiny. Some called them a power couple. Others criticized them openly. But behind closed doors, their bond was deep. He loved her, genuinely. He supported her brand, stood behind her during launches, held her through panic attacks. But even he didn't see how close she was to the edge. In her final messages to him, she apologized. She thanked him for trying. She spoke of another life, one where she could love him without this weight. Her words weren't frantic, they were calm, measured, resigned. That's the thing about depression when it settles. It numbs the chaos. Her exit wasn't impulsive, it was planned, painfully so. After her death, he shared those texts, not for attention, but out of anguish. He felt helpless, hollowed. He said he had done everything, that he hadn't seen it coming. Not like this. That loving someone with invisible wounds is a kind of heartbreak you never recover from. The world reacted in waves: shock, disbelief, grief. Then the stories began to pour out, followers, friends, clients, all sharing how she had changed them, how she had answered messages when no one else did, how she had stayed on Zoom calls hours after they ended, how she had reminded them again and again that they mattered. But privately, Raven had been slipping away for some time. She had always spoken about disconnection, the feeling of being outside her own body, of floating through her life like a ghost. On podcasts, she talked about feeling like she was on autopilot. In journals, she wrote about being tired, not just physically but spiritually. A kind of tired that sleep couldn't fix, that success couldn't soothe. She began to isolate, subtly. Missed calls, shorter replies, canceled plans. Her laughter thinned out. Her content remained energetic, but those closest to her saw the difference. She was fading, still performing, but withdrawing all the same. Even her business reflected the shift. She began preparing others to take over. She set systems in place. She organized files. She finished client plans ahead of schedule. It was like she was tying up loose ends, even if no one realized why. Her funeral was held in her hometown. Hundreds attended. Some had flown across the country. Others had never met her in person, but felt like they had known her forever. The church was filled with women wearing her merch, Go Crazy Fitness hoodies and crop tops. Her sister Mia spoke through tears. Her mother barely made it through her eulogy. Breezy sat silently, holding his head in his hands. In the weeks after, her Instagram was frozen in time. Her final post, a smiling selfie in a gym mirror, became sacred. Her comments turned into tributes. Fans posted videos doing her workouts in her honor. Her programs sold out overnight, but nothing could bring her back. There were whispers, then conversations about influencer culture, about the invisible cost of constant exposure. Raven was a fitness guru, but also an entertainer, a therapist, a CEO, a partner, a friend, a brand. That kind of pressure can erode even the strongest mind. The truth is, influencers aren't just selling products. They're selling personas, and when the world believes you're invincible, you start to believe you can't fall apart. Raven was the epitome of strength, but she was also a woman, fragile and human, who had quietly been asking for help in 1,000 tiny ways. Her story isn't just a tragedy, it's a portrait of a young black woman who tried to do everything right, who used her pain to uplift others, who built something powerful out of nothing, who was loved deeply by so many, and who still felt alone in the end. Raven K. Jackson mattered, not because she was flawless, but because she was honest, even in her silence. Because she poured herself into others until her cup was empty. Because she dared to dream loudly in a world that tries to silence women like her. Now, she's more than a memory. She's a symbol, not of perfection, but of the cost of pretending to be okay. And the echoes of her voice still ring in the hearts of those she touched, reminding them, even if only in retrospect, that sometimes the ones who shine the brightest are the ones who need the light the most. Thanks for watching Crime Whispers. If this story gripped you, like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more disturbing true crime stories that lurk in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.